So yesterday, I took part in a celebration of life, but it was a celebration of life that wasn't planned, really wasn't expected, and wasn't kind of on my radar until recently. But um, as I've said, I feel like I've turned my life over to God in new and different ways over the last year. And one of the ways that I'm trying to do that is I'm trying to say yes to God. Every morning I wake up, and every morning I say, "Okay, God, thank you. I see that I get to see another day. How do you use me today? What thing is going to send me in a direction where I can be of help or of service to somebody? Anybody. Just let me know. I'm just waiting." Well, a few days back, this person that I know asked me for a favor, and it was a lofty favor for him, and most people probably would have said it's a lofty favor to ask, and most other people would have said, yeah, they're justified in saying that, and I'm not here to argue that point. I realize in this podcast that what I want to do is I want to kind of show you me. I want to tell you who I am. I want to tell you why I do the things that I do. And maybe that inspires you to do something similar if the will of God so inclines you to do so. So here's what I did. This person goes to my church. This person lost his wife. I knew that. Didn't know very much else about that. Hasn't been coming to our church a long time. But when she passed away, apparently they had an agreement that he would spread her ashes in the ocean. And previously they lived in Atlanta. I don't think I know all of the details, but long story short, at some point she passed away. At some point he left Atlanta. He ended up breaking down in Durham and has been coming to our church kind of ever since through the happenstance of that breakdown. It's what he sees as a problem, I see as God's plan. This person's been going to our church for several months. I mean, shoot, it might even be over a year. I don't remember, but I mean, just feels like this person's been there as long as we have. I know he hasn't, but it kind of feels like that. He's just kind of woven into the fabric of Elizabeth Street United Methodist Church, as one should be in church. Not everybody is. Not everybody participates on the same level, but there are those people. This gentleman is one of them. So his late wife, he has lived with her ashes and lived with a promise. And it's a promise that was unfulfilled. And he asked me if I could help facilitate that. And I said yes without hesitation, because in my mind, God was sending this person to me so that I could be of service. So I said yes. Now, their anniversary was yesterday, which was a Tuesday. And most people don't help people during the work week because it's the work week and I can't because I'm working. Well, I work for a company that offers PTO, and several people take off PTO when their kids are sick or when they go to a dentist or all that kind of. I don't really take off time, so I have time. And earlier in this month, my boss said, you have 4.5 weeks of time off you need to take for the end of the year. So I took a half a day. That turned into a full day. And I was nervous about doing it, but I was nervous in the back of my mind about saying yes in a way that I actually felt I was saying yes to God. But think about the fact that I was nervous about how that might impact my job. And truth be told, it might. I pray it won't, because I feel that the Holy Spirit was telling me to say yes to this situation. And let me tell you why I feel like that was a blessing for me. Yesterday was beautiful. From beginning to end. From the time we left the parking lot, we were at the church. We left the parking lot about 7:15. We hit traffic in Raleigh. We hit traffic in Research Triangle Park. We had all of this time in my truck driving down, and we just talked. There's a really weird way that my mind tells me to look at things. And it's very different than how everybody else looks at things. The way I looked at yesterday, we were having church where 2 or more are gathered in his name. That's what it says. So we didn't need a building. We had a 2023 Honda Ridgeline, but it was church. Saturday, I bid farewell to a woman I loved, my best friend's mom. Goldie Randall was amazing. Amazing, just amazing. And I treated that farewell with respect because I knew her and I loved her. And I love her daughter with all of my heart. And I would want no level of pain to ever, ever, ever rest on her shoulders. And yet, she lost her mother, and she was in pain. And so I went down to North Augusta, South Carolina on Saturday just to hug her. And when I hugged her and she put her head on my shoulders and I felt her let me take some pain off of her shoulders, I could feel it happening. And my mom was standing there, my road dog, and she could see it happening. That was church. It was church in a parking lot of a church, so it felt like church because it was a church. But what I had yesterday was church. It was a farewell. It was healing for me. And I didn't know her, but I know him. And I said yes when God came calling. I've been trying to make people make sense of life. And what I realize is y'all have already drawn your lines in the sand. I might say something that might move a needle here and there, but truth be told is I'm going to just start telling you about what it is that I do. Who it is that I am, that'll come through. You'll get to know me because you'll watch my actions. Maybe that's how we should all start to go through this life. That gentleman knew me 2 days ago. But that gentleman watched me be about my faith yesterday. And it just happened that I was being about my faith on his behalf. And he got to watch that. Watch me be about my faith. That is what happened yesterday. And I got the intimate front row seat to watch a man celebrate by himself a woman that he loved for 20 years in the solitude of just wanting to keep that promise to her. And I watched him keep that promise to her. And then we got in the truck and we drove back. My half day turned into a full day of PTO. My company is not going to miss that day. But me and that gentleman from my church, I think our lives are forever changed because I said yes and I took that day of PTO. It was an excellent day. Can't explain to you how excellent yesterday was. Think about that. Go in peace.